after the show, I lost a lot of weight in a short amount of time. So I went from 335 to 190.
Have
Can't
you
all
seen the
I
studies
can't
on
ex
our metabolism? Because we lost the weight so fast that our body's metabolisms shut down.
Oh, I knew my metabolism was screwed. I'll tell you how. I would go on the same weight loss thing as other people, things that everybody else was shredding weight, feeling great. And guess what? I was just flatlining.
If you've been watching, you know that I take my ingredients very seriously, but there are 3 companies that I have found that I absolutely love. Check the description for discount codes. Welcome to Beyond Bariatric. My name is Adrian. I was on season 3 of The Biggest Loser. I'm starting a series here where I'm going to be interviewing my fellow alumni, hearing what's the behind the scenes. How did you get on the show? What was the experience really like? What's life like today? All the things. My very first guest is Phil Parham. Did I say it wrong?
Yeah, Parham.
Parham.
That's fine.
Parham. Okay, sorry.
Parham. Yeah.
My very first guest is Phil Parham. And I'm so excited to hear about this because me and him have a lot in common. I don't think everybody liked him on his season, and they were excited to vote him off as soon as they could, just like me. And but better, Phil lost over 100 pounds, and had he made it to the top, he would have won the show. Him and his wife at the time.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
Phil,
That's
I'm
right.
so excited to have you. Could you give us a little background on who you are, where you live, and how did you get on the show?
Phil Parham. I'm now 57 years old, which is crazy. I just thought because our show was 15 years ago. I don't know that anybody remembers this, but it's been a while. Season 6 of The Biggest Loser in 2008. And this would be about the time I thought about it today. This would be about the time that we actually got on the show because our show was a 7-month series. We actually, from start to finish, was 7 months. So, what is that? We ended up, our finale was the middle of December. So, you can count backwards. So, it'd be around May that we started. So, we were on the short season. There was a short season and a long season. That's kind of behind the scenes stuff like that people don't know about. But um, live in South Carolina, the Greenville, South Carolina upstate area. Beautiful, and love it here. That's where I was from when I was on the show, so I'm still in the same area. Have a different wife, different life. It's a lot of different changes over the years, but a lot of good stuff. And so you wanted to know about how we got on the show, Amy and I. So it was completely Amy. It was completely Amy. She said one day, "Let's go to this audition in Atlanta for a TV show." And I was like, "Okay, I don't have anything else to do." So we actually had a girl that had moved in with us and was helping us. She was our assistant, lived in our house. Her name was Lolo, sweet girl. And she had come to live with us. So she went with us to Atlanta. So we went to this big, they had an open casting call. So I'm trying to remember this as we're talking about it. Had an open casting call. And we went to this big uh, bar restaurant, probably held 1,000 people, like a big place. And we got there early. Everybody stood in line. There was at least, I don't want to over exaggerate, I would say 300, 500 people maybe at the time, open audition. And I just met somebody in the line. I'm a real estate agent and I had my business card. We were standing there for hours with a bunch of fat people. We were making jokes, and I just handed the person my card and I said, "Don't forget me," you know, because they were coming through the line, the little producers. So sure enough, they saw us and we went through the big tables where they gather everybody in like tables of 12. That's how they did it back then. So they might have 5 or 6 tables at a time with different producers that were talking to people, and they would literally make a note, this one, go to the next round. So from that, they recognized us. I guess we made a little impression. It was like a 5-minute thing. So I guess it was just the luck of the draw. And then from there, they schedule you to come the next day in Atlanta to appear on a camera. Like they'll bring you to a hotel and I guess they look at you on camera and make sure you're not hideous or whatever. I guess
You
part
pick
of
people
it,
who are pretty good looking, even at every size. They do.
huh?
I think they do pick good looking people at
I
every
think
size.
they pick people that they think could be more attractive or at least halfway attractive
That's
or a
potential.
personality or whatever, but I kinda got into their mind a little bit when, you watch it and you're like, "Oh, okay, that makes a little sense," because there was some really strange people, so you don't wanna be one of those, but we made enough impression at the first one, we went to the second one, and,
Did you get a
our crew in
call to
there.
the second
Huh?
one, or did you get a call to be in the second one, or was everybody in the second one?
No, no, no. They narrowed like 500 people down to let's say 40 people. So we went to the next one in if people are from Atlanta or know that area, we went to like a hotel in Buckhead. It makes no difference, but we went there and then we were kind of nervous. It was like a couple days later, so we drove back. We're 2 hours from Atlanta. So we drove back to Atlanta and then and that was smaller and more intimate, and so that was just like local camera people and those same producers stuck around. They would ask you questions, and then from there I'm remembering this back. This has been a long time since I've told the story, but I'm remembering now. We made a video. They made a video. Okay, and this was months later that video got on the desk of one of the producers for the actual show, like the lady who did the casting. Our video somehow made it to her desk, and she said she had a pile of videos there, and they were casting for our season. And she just for some reason liked us. I cannot remember her name to save my life, but I'm friends with her on Facebook. I hadn't seen her in a long time, but she's really sweet. Her name's Jill. That's what it is, Jill. And Jill saw our tape, and she's like, "I like Phil and Amy for some reason." I said, "Great." So she took that and said, "I really want to see if I can help these guys move forward." So from that one, we went to. They invited us to go to LA, and then we were sequestered in a hotel for in Studio City. They sequestered us for a week. So you did a week of just,
Mm-hmm.
I think, Heba and Ed, obviously. I actually met Sione Faye and his cousin were there. Like there were people from like the next season that were in the hotel that we kind of all met in the hallway or I saw them later and they were trying to get a couple of casts together seems like or at least some so some people they thought moved to the next season so anyway we went to Hollywood and did that for a week and just that one was interesting because you had to stay in your room the whole time. I mean we're rule followers. I know other people didn't follow the rules but they told me to stay in the room so we stayed in the room,
Me
I'm a
too.
I do what you tell me. So, we went to the open casting call, then we went to a small private session at a hotel room, nerve wracking. Then several months later, they weren't going to send us to Hollywood except for the casting director who had our tape and asked them, she's like, I really like these two. Because I guess they get in a room and they figure it all out, look at all these tapes. It's a whole process. And then I'm talking about like thousands of people auditioned. So it was a big deal. I had never watched the show. I had no idea what it was about. I was just going because my wife wanted me to. And so I was just whatever, hamming it up, having a good time. Then the whole thing in Hollywood, in Studio City, we stayed in a hotel. It was like a week. That was really interesting. And then the hardest part of that was when they finally called us to go meet JD Roth and the people from NBC. They're like it looks like something you would see on television. Like you walk into a room and you're in the light and everyone else is in the dark behind the lights. So it's like, oh, just be natural, just be yourself.
Yeah.
And 10 TV producers
Don't
and
be nervous.
oh, don't be nervous. And we
Yeah.
actually were gonna wear, like, the same shirts, like a lime green shirt, and Jill called us and she's like, "Don't do that. Go change clothes." She was actually, I remember back, she was really instrumental in helping us get on. She said, "Don't do that. Just go wear something else. Just be more natural, be yourself." So that was kind of how we made it to the next round. And then it was all kind of surreal. Amy was doing a bunko party. I don't know if you know what that is, but like where women get together and play dice, or
Yeah.
they mostly just drank wine, but they did some
Yeah.
kind of, and she got the call and she just freaked out. She was like, "Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God." So something she wanted. She knew Bob from the show. She was all a big fan. Literally loved that show. I never watched it. I swear to God, I would go in the other room and
I never watched it either, Phil.
never watched it.
I never watched it. I just had a dream I was going to be on it.
I thought it was all just about weight loss. I really went there with the intention of, just throwing in and losing weight. So we could talk about more, but that was kind of how the whole,
Question. Did you have to take a personality test at all? And did you have
yes,
to submit any blood work ahead of time?
I failed it.
You can't fail it. That means you win. Like, they want people who are crazy, and they
Yeah,
won.
I failed the
You know, they
personality test.
definitely want different personality types because that's going to make great TV.
So,
I can tell you that for sure with
you
some of
want
my
to know how you
castmates.
felt? You want to know how you felt? They
Huh.
singled me out and said, "Something's wrong with this guy." And so I
This
met
will
with
make great TV is what they were thinking. Cha-ching.
I met with Dr. Hogan. Dr. Hogan is the psychiatrist, and he was like, "You basically failed your test. You tested too honest." And I said, "What? I don't understand. Aren't you supposed to answer the questions honestly?" He's like, "Man, you sure are sweet and naive." He said, "People don't do that. They answer the test how they
How they
think should answer the test." And I said, "I just answered honestly." He's like, "I've been with you 5 minutes. I just understand you're the honest person." So that was like a big deal. I was just really honest, ethical, not that I'm not now, but I was just trying to do my best. So they sort of flagged me as being that, hometown spun, good old boy. I was just really good, sweet, ethical, you know,
So you
nice
get on the
guy. I was
show.
like,
I'm sorry. So
"Yeah.
you get on the show, and it says that the very first week you lost like 23 pounds. So
Oh, yeah, I did."
my question is, when you were in that hotel, did you drink extra water and eat plenty of foods that you gained
No, I
weight? And
just
then
I was too honest. I failed the personality test because I wasn't thinking that way. I did that straight up. That was me.
was the first week, was it so on my season, and I know it changed throughout the seasons, and this is a well-known thing. So I've already talked to an attorney. It's okay to even say this out loud.
Yep.
In my season, a week on TV is not the same as a week of filming. Like, some of
Okay.
our weeks were over 3 weeks long.
Uh,
Was the first episode of yours, was it actually, did you actually lose 23 pounds in a week?
I'd say I can't remember the actual physical days on the calendar, but I'm sure that it was less than 10.
Okay, so you
Crazy,
lost a ton of inflammation then. A
crazy.
ton.
Yeah, I was Heba. I would get done, and we were all standing around like in this courtyard, and Bob wanted to talk to us in the evening. And Heba said, and I started throwing up. I did it 2 or 3 days in a row. Like I would just get sick, and that was actually a good thing. But Heba called me Pukesatoni Phil, and I was just like, she was trying to be cute, but I just got sick, and it was like I was just getting rid of all this stuff. I felt amazing after just a couple of weeks. I was pre-diabetic, enlarged heart, the whole deal, like really, really bad, and didn't know I was as bad. They kind of play it up. There was some really sick people that came with bags of medication, all of that sort of thing. I didn't do. I didn't take anything, but I knew that I was really on the verge of diabetes. I felt that. I'd had a couple of things that had, I wasn't a go to the doctor person, but I should have probably. They would have put me on something, I'm sure. They would have helped me or tried to, but I was probably worse off than I had even known, than I've even had
And
any idea.
retrospect, I'm watching this at the time when they were talking to us, like screaming at us, you got to burn this, you got to blah, blah, blah. Now I'm watching it and I saw, like, I think it was Ed. It was one of your contestants. He was pretty injured and he wasn't feeling good. And they were like, burn it through that, get through that, or else you're weak. And it's like, I think I think his body's actually saying this isn't the appropriate exercise for him. I don't know. What do you think?
That
Like,
was
did you
tough.
and the same with the throwing up. I think throwing up happens a lot too, though, when you go keto and stuff because
Yeah,
of the transition and the blood sugar dysregulation and the
yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, I was cleaning out toxins. That's what I had been eating nothing but garbage food, convenience store type food, hamburgers, pizzas, just junk, sodas, all that stuff. And then I just went completely clean on the show. And then you're adding in the exercise plus the fear for me, the anxiety and all it's everything was going on. But we had no, I love good quality salt now, like real salt, not
Please tell me you use Redmond's real salt.
oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I'm a Redmond's guy.
I'm a
So
Redmond girl.
so but there we didn't do any salt.
Yeah, same
You're
here.
just purging everything out of your body. Crazy. But I was on the treadmill one day and I looked at I was working, the cameraman was beside me and I was going at it on the treadmill and I was holding on, and my heart rate was like up over 200 and he was looking at it and he was like, "Is this right? Like, dude, I don't think that's healthy."
Did you before you went on, did you have to do all the bod pod and the DEXA scan and all the Dr. Hyzenga testing?
Yeah, we did. We went to Beverly Hills, to his office and did the whole, like,
The whole
afternoon
thing.
to doing the whole thing to check it because he was big on that. I saw
Yeah.
Julie talking on did you see her Thomas DeLauer interview today or recently?
Yes, I did.
I don't know what to think about that, but anyway,
I think some good
she she
incident.
mentioned she mentioned in that interview that, she didn't really like the doctor on the show. She said that a couple of times. I had no
I
idea.
I stick
Did you
him.
ever yeah.
Dr. Hyzenga, reach back out. You're still my hero, man.
I love Dr. H, but
Did you
she
have
said
any
something
access
a
to
little
him when you
negative.
were on the ranch?
Huh?
Sorry, did you have any access to Dr. Hyzenga when you were on the ranch? Because we didn't. Like, a message could get
Yeah,
sent through some of the production assistants, but it was a
yeah.
real big delay.
He came by every week or so, and
Yeah,
they did blood and all that stuff. They did blood and urine and the whole
great.
every week.
I think he proved himself with our season because mine season was the one with one person from every state, and
Right.
there was 13 on the show, or 14 on the show, and then 36 of us at home. So I was one of his little pets, and I did
Huh?
exactly what he told me to do. And
Yeah,
by the time me and Jaron came on the ranch, and I think the other contestants that came back with me were in the same boat, we had all lost more weight than the people on the ranch. So that's why the
right.
judges
Yeah,
don't like him because he is a scientist. He knows what he's doing.
yeah. I like him. Yeah,
And also, I want to know with all three kids, were you
yep.
completely sequestered and not able to call them or talk to them for this whole time? And how did you do?
Here's another thing. When they do that, that's the TV people. So the whole idea is the more emotional you are, the more you'll be better on, if they cry, they buy. You can say that, right? So
Yeah.
if they cry, they buy. People buy. They love that emotion. And you're in that whole thing and you're in that whole atmosphere and you're 3,500 miles away from home. We sound different because I'm from South Carolina. I'm in California. I'm around all these different people, film crew following you around. You're with weird people. You live with strange folks. It's just a whole different thing. And then, kids are young. They're always on your mind. And then, my sister was a blessing. So she kept them. And, the whole summer, literally, we were gone, literally almost the whole summer.
Yeah, and people don't realize too. I have some friends who just filmed a reality show called RV Unplugged, and they were like, it was 24 hours a day. The game was 24 hours a day. And that's what people don't realize is when you're there, you're in that pressure cooker. They've got a camera in every single corner. You're always wearing a mic.
Like
It's a
the
pressure
bedroom.
cooker. Yeah.
So we looked up at night, and I'm like, I'm married, so I'm thinking I want to have sex with my wife. That sounds crazy, but I'm like, I want to have sex with my wife. And Amy would go, There's no way. There's no way that we're doing anything because they've got a camera in the room. We weren't mic'd up at night. You take your mics off and the camera people are gone, but they had cameras around the place. And
Yeah.
whatever paperwork you signed, so it is 24 hours a day. If they catch something in the hall or somebody arguing or somebody saying things, they can use that footage. And there was a lot of I wasn't there for the drama, but I look back at it, I'm like, there's a pretty good bit of drama, but it does wear on you because you don't feel like you can get away from it unless you take walks. Like we would take walks and we would go to the gym at night. So that would be our relaxation is to go work out more and to walk. We just walked. People don't realize they look at the training,
Mhm.
um, and you're there and you're training and it's hard. But after dinner at night, which you made yourself, you washed your own dishes,
Mhm.
you did all the things that you would do. They didn't have anybody. That's something that people may find interesting. There was a lady at the time, her name was Julie. She worked for the show because the show's got a lot of people to work for it. But she would say, "What do you want to eat?" So you would put in like a grocery list, and she would go to like good grocery stores. She would literally buy like if you put in fish, what do you want? Tilapia, we'll make that, or some kind of something. And they never told you what to do. They gave you ideas and then they gave you guidelines of, it was really all about calories. But we created our own meal plans. There was no Bob and Jillian were not in the kitchen. Nobody was there. We did our own thing. And you know, they were whole like the turkey bacon and egg whites, but whatever. But we ate real food. That was really the bottom line. If you wanted any takeaway from it, we had 3 meals or whatever, and it was real food. And we drank lots of water and some electrolytes, I think I remember back because they were super worried, especially in the first couple of 3 weeks about all the loss of, they kept us on some kind of something for electrolytes imbalance and stuff. But basically we did our own thing that way. So it was, that's I guess that's something that people think you have a chef or something, but no, we
Yeah.
that was a good takeaway because you learned how to make your own. I mean, you did your own food, and all of the young people on our season, none of them cleaned their rooms, none of them washed dishes, none of them cleaned up after themselves. It was all the older folks. I was like 40, I think, or 41 at the time. And um, we cleaned up, and I would wash dishes to burn calories because we had the body bug on our arm. So
Yeah.
that was, and then we
So
would just walk.
do,
Greatest exercise ever, walking.
do you remember what your calorie goal was? Did you guys like track your food?
God, that's a good question. Yes, burning calories.
All of it. People want to
Okay,
know what
so
was the magic behind the show, the magic numbers.
yeah, okay, so I had not thought about that in a long time, but yes, we had the body bug. That was a big deal. Kept it on your bicep back here or tricep back here, wrapped around your arm, and we would look at the numbers all day. We would track. That was it was really, really, really new. That was a really 2008. That was like a burgeoning new technology.
I don't
Uh,
know. We all have these.
yeah, yeah. So super right, exactly. But that was so long ago. But no one thought about that. No one. But yeah. So we would obviously we were penciling. I was pencil and paper and a notebook, and I would
Mhm.
write every single thing I ate and how many calories. Like I could tell you an egg had like 70 calories or whatever it was. I think, an apple, average apple. We had the books and we would look at the books.
Yep.
write everything down, transcribe it onto a notebook. That's good you said that. I hadn't thought about that, but we would track everything. And then as far as calorie burn, I think the most I ever did was like, you won't believe this, but like over 9,000 in a day.
Wow.
Seriously. I know some couple people kind of
So on my season, I came in, I don't remember what week I came in. By the time I got there, everybody was injured except for me and Jaron because Dr. Huizinga had us doing an hour and a half in the morning and an hour at night. So it
right.
was spread out and it was only 2.5 hours compared
Yeah.
to what was happening on the ranch, which was 24/7 as hard as you can. So
Right.
they were all injured and we were not. Were you
I think
guys
the
injured?
workouts were like about 4 hours. That's just crazy. That's nuts. But what they would do, so here's a behind the scenes that I don't think anybody cares you share this, but so most of the time on my season, Bob was a morning guy, Jillian's an afternoon person. So she didn't like mornings. Bob liked mornings. So Bob would typically um get the 9 or 10 o'clock. They'd say, get your breakfast, whatever interviews we've got to do or whatever. They would do interviews like, during the day. So get your breakfast, and then meet up at the gym at 9:15 or 9:30 or whatever. So it wasn't like super early because you are filming a television show. So you asked me about that, and I'll just tie that in. Days of the week, like a week on a television show is like whatever date it aired, like Thursday, and then you watch it the next Thursday or whatever night it came on. I don't even remember anymore. But they would film maybe 12 hours a day, and they would film like 4 days, maybe 5 days in a row. It just depended because that's how they would film it. It would be they would take weekends off most of the time. Weekends were kind of nice. We had other trainers that came in on the weekends. We have other trainers.
About this. We
Yeah.
didn't have the
Bob would hire another trainer or Jillian would hire another trainer. And, they went off and did whatever they did for those days. So I would say, let's just say they went Monday through Thursday or even Monday through Friday, and then you take the weekend off. And then they would tell you, we'll be back, and the weigh in would be like on a Tuesday. So it might be like 8 days, 9 days, depending if there was a holiday. It was not like 2 weeks or anything like that. We really legitimately lost a ton of weight in a short amount of time. I don't ever remember it being more than 10 days. But occasionally, you'd throw like July 4th in there or something. They're not going to film. And on those days, and we had like 6 days on, 1 day off, so they would want you to have a cheat meal. Jillian was big into a cheat meal, not the whole day, but she would we would order Chipotle or something. They would give us like two or three choices on that day. We would look so forward to it, just resetting your body, because you're just
yeah.
so used to everything.
And one of your main sponsors was Jello. So did you guys just eat like tons of Jello?
I never ate much Jello. It was there. I never ate gum. I hate gum. I hate that extra gum, whatever that crap was. I hate that. Oh yeah, they were really big on sponsorships, but they were a money making show. Funny thing is, I went to Guatemala on a mission trip one time, and people recognized me.
Oh,
It was
you know that you're still on YouTube, right?
Oh yeah, I know. I've seen it.
Do you ever watch your season? I don't. It gives me the cringies.
I watched it today.
What?
We're gonna talk about it. There's so many things I forgot about. It was really fun, and I watched people.
Too. I know some people are like, oh, we were treated like cattle, so negative, but
Oh, I
I just
enjoyed.
think, millions of people wanted this opportunity and I got it. And yeah, it's not exactly what it appears to be. It's very
Right.
TV, but
Yep.
it taught me so many things. I thought, and it was so cool to get to go to LA and to get to learn about being filmed. And I'm gonna guess you didn't make it to I got to get the makeover and it
I
was
was
just fun.
so I think our season was 14 episodes, 14 weeks on TV. I looked at it today just because that's the only reason I remember this. I was like in week 6 or 7. I made it, like, pretty far in. Amy got eliminated, and then the next week I got eliminated, but Heba put me over on the black team. I watched it today, I not even remember any of that, but Heba put me on, the black team, and I could just see that the whole thing was moving against me. Okay, first of all, Jillian would come in and say, "Who's having their period?" You know, it's like, "Well, not me. I'm the only one here." It's like, "I'm the only male." I was the only dude in the room for the black team. So it was me and a bunch of females. And uh, I felt like I had all the girls. I was the odd man out on the girls' team because I was the one dude on the girls' team. And then Amy's on the other side on the blue team with Heba, Vicky, Brady, and Ed, and they were all in bed together the whole time. You know, they were just all aligned. I didn't watch the first couple of episodes today, but I kind of remember, you know, the first couple of weeks, everybody was getting, I think the Toms went home, and I think Stacy and Ed, or Stacy and Adam went home first. They were sweet people, but we stuck it out for a while, and we actually showed them up once we got to the finale. Like you said, I would have, that
Mhm.
sort of pissed me off because I was like, I could have won if I'd have stuck around a little bit longer.
Uh-oh. Shoot.
I lost the
Is it
signal. We
mine?
lost signal.
Oh, are you back? There
I
you
think
go.
we're back.
Okay, sorry. So, yeah, I see ya.
Yeah. I was just saying, if I had stuck around a little bit longer and been a little bit more of a game player, but I had females, you know, I had a mother daughter on my team because we were either born to it or sworn to it. So we were the moms and daughters or the husbands and wives. So, you know, uh, Vicky and Brady were obviously aligned, and Ed and Heba, and you know, all that. Everybody can watch the season. I did. I was kind of a geek. I would look at NBC.com and watch like the comments on it. You know, when our season was going on, that was like before. So
Yeah.
I did look. I did look on the NBC thing, and they had forums back then. And you know, my ex-wife Amy was super popular, and people, she was always like a fan favorite. You know, she's nice to look at, good on camera, speaks well, and I thought people liked us a pretty good bit. You know, just because we're just normal, wholesome, and I kind of wanted to make it clear that I was there. I realized the game was going on as I was in the game, but I didn't go on it to play a game. I legitimately went on there to learn about things and change my life. And I will say that I feel like, would I do it again? Probably, because I'd probably be dead. Maybe, you know, I don't know. I see people now, and I'm like, "Ugh, gosh, I'm really like I'm not as thin and as small as I could be or I should be, but I'm way more healthy." And my mindset changed a lot through the show. You know, I would be on the treadmill, and I didn't realize that one day I was on the treadmill, and you're just by yourself. And I say to myself, before I get on the treadmill, I say, I'm going to do an hour. And there was something in me when I would start to get tired, you know, 45 minutes, 50 minutes, I would start to get off the treadmill because that had been my pattern. And I said to myself, when I was there, I go, you're not going to do that anymore. There's something in you that was a quitter, and now you're going to fix that. I'm not going to stop. So if I said I'm going to do 60 minutes, by God, it's going to be, I mean, I can get off that treadmill at 60 minutes and 1 second, but I am not getting off the treadmill until at least 60 minutes because I told myself that I was here to do an hour. So I realized a lot of things about myself when I was in this pressure cooker that I needed to change, and that things that I wanted to change. You go through a lot of emotional things, you know, it's just a lot of things that you go through. And then you change completely. Like you come home and walk past people in the mall and they won't recognize you. And then you get attention where you never got attention before. It's like
Mhm.
it was a lot going on. You know, it's like we would
There's
go
a lot here. Yeah.
going on. And couldn't handle a lot of it because it was so quick. We were, probably 20 million people watched us on television. So it's like a lot. And then all over the world. So, you know,
And doing this these days, sure, we have YouTube and maybe a million people if you're a hit, a million people will watch it, but like when we were on TV, it was millions of people. And my season
million.
on play on Bravo for like 10 years. And so a lot of people saw this. A lot of people were inspired. You had mentioned something about how you're not the same as you were on the show. I just want to say I personally gained all my weight back plus more. My when I
Sure.
started the show, I was 227. When I got pregnant and got preeclampsia, I got all the way up to 330. I spent probably 10 years in the 260s where I had started in the 220, 227. So I ended up spending most of my life since the show in the mid 200s, and it's been a struggle ever since. I even tried gastric bypass, and I finally landed. For me, the ticket is carnivore. I know other
Mhm.
people, the ticket for them has been more whole foods. I'm a lot more gentle. I've learned a lot of lessons, and I'm wondering, what has it been like since the show? And
Mhm.
have you learned any lessons? Or are you doing things exactly the same? Does it still work? Tell us about that.
So,
And that was a big question.
so for me, after the show, I lost a lot of weight in a short amount of time. And it was very hard, but it was very good. But I was just determined. What I weighed in at, I was only there for like a minute. Um, in reality, I gained some water weight back, and I've probably floated up 15 pounds from the time I weighed in to the time I was on the finale. Literally, I did everything I could to get every ounce of everything out. Like a wrestler.
Yep.
So let's just say in reality, I was like 190. That was probably right. So I went from 335 to 190, 180, 155 pounds, a lot of weight in 7 months.
Wow.
Officially 155. So 7 months is the short season, and we just killed it. But afterwards, you couldn't satisfy some of the things that you had used food for before. So I think I turned to alcohol. So
Me
a lot of
too.
people did. A lot of people love the alcohol. Plus, I was a hit back home. I was
Yes.
a hit.
Did people scream when you walked in the room? Because that happened to me.
So weird. It's just me. I'm like, I literally went underground. Yeah. So to finish, I turned to alcohol, and I would partying a lot, had a lot of good times. I was still eating probably really healthy, but I
Yeah.
was drinking. It's crazy. A lot of people did it. Promise you. I know a
Hmm.
lot of people did it because you're just trying to cope with everything going on, and then you're just like a new person. You look differently, but you feel the same. You're still trying to, change. You've changed a lot, but you're not. It's not like a slow weight loss where you do it over a long period of time. It's quick, and
In front of everyone.
it's not healthy. But I wouldn't not do it again. But it wasn't healthy. But then I stayed fit for a while. But then I had some stuff going on in my personal life and then my wife and I were having trouble. So I went through all of that. Then we were having some financial struggles because, we're talking '08. It was like a lot of people went through a lot of things in the downturn. We were in real estate. I had a business. We were like, all these things were happening at one time. Plus, we had the fame of the show, the local thing. I mean, I went to New York City one time. Like I said, we just walked down the street, and random people in a major city. It's 15 million people there. People would ask for to take a picture with us, like random people. People got off the bus at the NBC Experience and asked us. They were from London and were fans. I'm talking about from England. So it does a number on your mind. So I'm doing all of that, having struggles. My wife's getting super amount of attention. So while we're having our little issues that I didn't even know some of it we were having, she's getting messages from people through MySpace, Facebook, whatever it was at the time. So she's going through a whole midlife thing. We were at midlife as well. So it's like a lot of things going on. Money, attention. huge amount of weight, midlife crisis, I guess. Maybe not midlife, but you know what I mean. We were in that 40, a lot of stuff going on. And then, so I wasn't, everything did not go well, perfect. Then I started having all these stresses. And I know now, like, I had what I thought was a heart attack one day. And it was like, I don't want to say it was all panic attack because I had, oh, what is it? Like, what was the thing that people got during like stuff around your heart? Like, uh, what do they call that? Where it mimics a heart attack. I had that. I'm trying
I
to
don't
think.
know. That sounds terrible.
Pericarditis. I had pericarditis because it was like I had a flu or inflammation. Anyway, I went to the hospital, airlifted me there. But I had all these things that were creeping up on me. I would have these weird things starting to happen. I was, and then just didn't feel well. So I had a lot of stuff going on. And I believe it was from stress in my body. And all this stuff started happening. So I just stopped working out. You know, I kept fit for several years, but it was like a lot of stresses and things. And then my marriage, I keep saying that, but that's a big deal. And then all those things started happening. And then after a while, I was just like, screw it. I can't keep the weight off somehow. Like I'm doing the same things that I used to do and it's not working. So I would always eat what I thought was pretty healthy and I would never overeat, but the weight just started coming back on. A lot of people were like that. You know, your body just, I
Have
can't,
you seen the
I
studies
can't.
on our metabolism? Because we lost the weight so fast that our body's metabolisms shut down.
Oh, I knew my metabolism was screwed. I'll tell you how. I would go on the same weight loss thing as other people. I mean, I
Mhm.
would go to the chiropractor or the acupuncturist, you know, the herbalist. I would go to the best, who I thought was the best. They would put me on different different herbs, things that everybody else was shredding weight, feeling great. And guess what? I was just flatlining. Did it
I
for a long time.
fast and I flatlined.
I
And I
know.
tell them, like, I'm eating 800 calories, I'm running half marathons. Why aren't I losing any more weight? And they're like, you must not be tracking very good. And I'm
Yeah,
like, I was in the biggest loser. I know how to track. Like, there's
you
something wrong
absolutely.
here.
What happened, what worked for me didn't work for, I mean, what worked for others did not work for me. Very frustrating. After a while, I said, screw it, I don't care. So yeah, I eventually got back up to, now I was more muscular and I was healthier. I put the weight on a little bit differently, but I packed on the weight just over time and um, put it. I didn't even want to get on the scale, so I would do stuff and lose weight and gain weight back. But mostly, it was really, 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 really super hard for me to lose weight. Like I felt my metabolism was in the garbage until, like you were talking about your carnivore. I think I lost 60 or 65 pounds last year doing carnivore. Absolutely loved it. So plan on getting back on
Very healing. I can see a lot of people with bad metabolisms with that animal fat and that protein and that nutrient dense food that people are healing their bodies.
it. Yep.
And I believe that it can be healed.
Your skin looks good. You sleep good at night. I mean, all the things, you know, I used to toss and turn, still do a little bit now because I've been off it like 6 months, but definitely plan on going back because that's the only, that's honestly the only thing that's worked for me in
Mhm.
all these years because I was doing, you know, I would eat all of the non-fat, low fat, Faye yogurt, all
Yes.
the stuff,
All the healthy
all
foods.
the healthy foods. And then now I've got to, you know, I got to go back 100% because I sort of did a little bit of keto towards the end of the year. And then I just sort of, we moved, I sort of slacked off and just, I still eat pretty good, but I don't eat, I'm not losing any weight right now, but I can tell you that if I want to get back, 100% carnivore works for me. And I was mad carnivore guy last year. Like, um, I did watch everybody, and you know that really that it was good for me. I had some skin things, um, inflammatory things in my body that all got healed. things that I had rashes, things that I could never get rid of any other way. We call it psoriasis. I had psoriasis, which
Yeah.
is an underlying problem. You've got more going on than that, but I got all that. Last year I sat down with some friends. We were in a party, or not a party, but like an event, an art event or something, and we were sitting there, and our friend Stacy looks at me and she said, "Your skin looks too bad. These guys, it's all men. It's always men. Your skin looks great. What's your secret?" And my wife goes, "All he eats is meat." Okay,
Yeah.
so that helped my skin a lot. But like I said, I'm gonna get back on it. But we ought to do an update in like 6 months and see where we're
Yeah.
at. It's life for me now. It's not like I'm not trying to prove anything. I did it 100%, 6 or 7 months or whatever I did last year to just see, to help me. And I was just steady, slowly. It wasn't all about weight loss, too. I was gaining muscle,
Great.
feeling good. A lot of really good, healthy things happened in my body. But, you know, um, like I said, life, moving, taking a new job, changing schedules, all of that has been a little bit tough. But now that, because I've kept saying to myself, I'm going to get up early, I'm going to go back to the gym, because I had a schedule where I could do that easier. And now I've got to really, really change some things. But I told my wife a couple of days ago, maybe it was even today, I said, "Baby, I got to get back on carnivore because that's the only way I like to." It's not exciting. You can't sell anybody, like, you can't go out.
I don't know. I just had a beautiful ribeye.
You can go out and eat. I would order whatever I wanted, I would change everybody knew all year last year that's what I was gonna do. So, but you gotta get in the right mind space and stuff, but you feel wonderful. It's really,
Yeah.
really.
I'm currently doing Lion and I made it about 40 days and then my hormones switched and life happened and I went off of Lion just back to carnivore. And then I've got this thing, and I think so much of America has this where you get off and you're like, okay, well, I'm off now. Like there's no
Right.
going back. It's over now. I screwed it up.
Oh,
It's all
no.
gone. And
Right.
instead, today, I went back into my why am I doing this? And I just jumped back on because I think that's just what it's just life. It's just stuff is going to happen. You're going to go on a cruise.
Yep.
You're going to lose a family member. Life is going to happen. And it's not about being perfect. It's about going back. My goal with this show, Phil, so thank you for coming on. My goal is if there's anyone on earth who could make the standard American dieting work, it would be us biggest losers. We had
Yep.
all the tools, we're so hardworking, we were so successful, probably some of the most successful people in America at losing weight through calorie restriction and heavy exercise. But I don't think that it didn't work long term for anybody. I think
No.
all of us have struggled since the show to keep the weight off. But it's not that I want to pick on anyone or anything. It's that I want America to know when they gain the weight back, that it's not them. It's the diet that we're being told. Doing too much restriction and doing too much exercise is it's putting your body into starvation. It's killing your hormones. Your
Mhm.
body doesn't like it. Your body doesn't trust you anymore. And this isn't a long term solution. So, as I talk to everyone, I want to know like, what has been your solution? What has helped you? And maybe
Mhm.
we can spread the message that there's other things people can do, but also just know nobody is alone. Like, I
Right.
stopped talking to people for years because I had gained so much weight that I just hid
Sure.
and I
Well,
know in America, tons of people are in the same exact position where they just feel like I failed. I didn't do it right. I don't have whatever those biggest losers had. And we didn't have anything. Like, we've
right.
kind of alone a lot, but we're doing the
Right.
same things you did and it didn't work for us either.
Right. I lost a business. I lost my wife through our
Your
she
sweetheart, wasn't
chose
she
not to
like
be
your
married
college
to me.
sweetheart or something?
Yes, yes. Yeah. We had our 20th anniversary on the show. I saw it today when I watched it. That was legit. I mean, that was legit. So, yeah, that was super hard. Going through all that. I mean, I'm super happy now, all these years later. I'm super happy. I had a wonderful wife. shout out to Alex. Amy likes her too. Amy's getting married this month, or this
Oh,
month coming up. Truly, good guy. So happy for her. Everybody looks back and go, maybe I could have done it different. I don't know. You can't look back. But just like that, but I felt, we wrote books and we spoke and all of that, and I felt all that pressure to be this perfect role model. And then, like you said, through stress and through it just was not working after a while, and the weight just started creeping back on, and people would judge you and say whatever they were saying.
at midnight. Yeah, no, I'm not. And I'm eating health foods and I'm eating low
Right.
fat.
I'm gaining weight on apples and health food. So a lot of people, and I'm just like everybody else. I look back and I go, hey, I wonder how they're doing. I look today, some people have gone underground. It's real common. You can't find them. And that's sad for me. I've seen a lot of people get the gastric bypass, or they think that's the only way that they can do it. And I'm so far past all that. I'm not 180, but I'm not 335. I'm like 260 something or whatever. And I want to be like, I don't even want to be as thin as I got on the show because I didn't look right. I didn't feel right. I want to be a healthy, like I went from a 3X to an XL shirt, and I can wear extra large. That's what I wear now. My goal in my size, I want to be medium to large. I mean, if I ever get in a medium again, I'll shout. But if I'm in a large shirt,
Still, you will. Because if I can do it,
I
you
feel
can
like,
do it.
yeah,
Because I'm telling you, this girl was 330 pounds.
yeah. And you got to get a little fanatical at times, but it's like you got to also learn how to integrate that into your life to where
Yeah.
it's your normal life. And you just, your mind is so clear. You feel so good. You can think, you can just everything. There's a lot of really good things about it. But I've found for what's for me, like that's been the thing that's helped me a lot, the carnivore. Totally. Not just saying it because you're carnivore. I'm saying that really you and I chatted
Yeah.
you and I chatted a few months ago
That's how
online
it makes you
on
feel.
some of the Biggest Loser forum, with the alumni, and they were like, "I could never do that." Well, you could if you wanted to, and if you tried it, I would say even if you do things like 3 or 4 months of the year, and then you just back off that a little bit and just change it a little bit. If that's what you wanna do, super healthy for you, super healthy for you. I mean, I think that's what, like, some of the internet guys like Thomas DeLauer and what's his name, Gary Brecka and all them, they were, a lot of people are feeling like if you did it 4 to 6 months of the year, if you just integrate that into your life, you could do some other it would so change your life.
Yeah,
Even if
I
you
think
were
it
like
was.
diet and you never changed or never ate a green bean or something, you know what I'm saying? It's like I don't love green beans
Yeah.
anyway, but I'm just like so opposed to vegetables. But just what I'm saying is even if you did that for like half the year, you would see a remarkable change in your the way you feel, the way you look. And you don't even have to work hard at it. Like the weight will just start coming off. That's how it happened for me last year.
Yeah, my husband did 3 weeks, and all he did was add more meat. He didn't
Yeah,
necessarily get rid of all the rest of the stuff because he's just a standard American guy with a pretty
right.
decent metabolism. But that 3 weeks changed his life, and now ever since, he's still back to the standard American, but he knows he
Yeah,
feels better if he eats more meat. And I just wanna make it clear too with the show, some of the next people I'm interviewing are Marty and Amy, and they're actually leaning more towards the plant side. So I'm with all sides. I think
right.
for me and for most people, I feel like we need more meat, but really the main thing here is to stop eating the processed stuff and the seed oils and the sugars and the you
100%.
cut those things, your life can be
Yes,
so much better. And
yes,
also, people never talk about food addiction. Like
right.
addictive behavior around food is another one that I feel
You
is really
can
big.
you can get over a lot of addictions with the style of eating we're talking about.
It's very helpful in
It's so
calming that
helpful.
that
Right.
that munching monster.
Yeah.
Hashtag munching
Yeah,
monster.
because you're so satiated, you just don't
Yep.
You just don't need it. But I got last year, I got a little bit was like, I couldn't even think about putting any cream in my coffee, it just got weird. I got like I was the water, coffee. I couldn't kick the coffee, and then just meat. That's it. Like that's all I ate. That's all I ate. And I got a little extreme, which was fine. But like I said, I just loved it. So I'm kind of looking forward to you kind of encouraging me to go back. And I've been encouraging myself. It was sort of fun looping back into The Biggest Loser. It was really neat to look at everything that happened. It was a short period of time for so much to happen and so much to go on. It's kind of crazy. Did you watch our season? Have you
I
watched
did
some?
it. Now I only watched the episodes you were on.
Okay.
For a
You're the
long time,
best.
you didn't watch the show. It gave me a lot of anxiety because
Yeah.
I felt like I had failed the show. I felt like, this immense pressure. And so it was hard. But, like, I love what you did. You did inspire people. You did also do the books. And I know you were doing some challenges and
Yep. We did a 90-day fitness challenge. We did a thing called 90-day fitness challenge. I felt like that was something that
that's
um
spread across the country, Phil.
I know. Well, we sold a lot of books, I thought. We did pretty good. We were setting up challenges like we would go to churches and I would come every week and speak, or they would what the whole idea behind it was in the beginning, I would go like I went to a big Baptist church and we would have like, right on the back of The Biggest Loser, we would have like 200 people sign up, no exaggeration, at a local church, right? And I would go and I put together like a lesson plan and I would come and speak every week for like the 3 months. And, it was really, really good. Like we saw people come off medication and we were kind of basically using The Biggest Loser style diet. We added a few things in ourselves, but people would just change their diet and change the way they drink and then start adding some exercise. And it's amazing um, the changes that people would make. And I know people to this day that lost weight, got healthier, and that was a really good thing. And that was kind of successful. So then we did a video series back in the day with DVDs. So we had a publisher that gave us a book deal. We did this on DVD, and so my goal was kind of like Dave Ramsey Financial Peace University. That was sort of the deal. Like I was thinking, it didn't work out as good as I thought, but it worked for a while. It was a couple of years we did it, and Amy wrote a book. We wrote a book for kids, and then we wrote that 90-day fitness challenge book. We did all of that for a while and spoke and like I said, but it's hard when your marriage is falling apart behind the scenes. So that was our story, but we did a lot of good, and I really truly wanted to help people. That was kind of what we really wanted to see happen. So
Phil, I don't think you're done helping people. And I
no,
want you to come back and give us
yeah,
a carnivore update or whatever you find that works for
yeah,
you. You're
yeah,
always welcome back, and I'm excited about that.
yeah. Did you want to know anything else since we're like 12 people are going to watch this? No, I hope everybody watches it, but it was fun.
We'll see, Phil. We'll see.
I want to watch the one with Marty and Amy because they're sweet.
They are so sweet. So
They're
many of the
sweet.
people that were on this show are sweet. What would be fire and ice is if I can get Kai on my show. She hated my guts.
So I haven't seen.
For Kai, come on my show. But I'm in the carnivore space, and people have a lot of questions about our show, and they're genuinely interested about like how did the mechanics work because they're very science based. They're very how did things work, and so I appreciate you sharing what your experience was on the show and how it is today and what you're playing around with and I think people will love the show so now
Yeah.
anything else you want to share is there any secrets behind the scenes anything else
Hmm. I was just thinking a while ago, we got really involved. You were talking about not watching the show. We became like super fans, Amy and I,
really
afterwards. Yeah. Like I think I watched up to like season 10 intently and kept up. Would message those people, ask to be friends on Facebook, track their progress. I think Tara from season 7 lived with us for a while.
Oh,
She moved in our house, didn't want anybody to know, so she could work out locally, and, she's from New York, and she was, like, on the Wheaties box, or I mean, that she got really popular, that season 7 Tara. I haven't heard from her, don't know where she's at, hope she's doing really well. She stayed with us for a while, so we had other people that, like, a local trainer would work with, and there was other people from other seasons that we got to know really well. And it was just like a fun, you sort of felt part of the club. So
mhm.
I've been to
I
like
that's what
3
I'm looking for.
finales. It was just fun trying to get tickets to the finale afterwards, go out to Los Angeles and be around the whole thing. Because Biggest Loser was big for a while. It was
Mhm.
really, I hated it. I didn't like it. This is my take on it. Like, I like JD Roth. I like the three ball production people. I didn't like it when they switched production companies and they changed the uniform or the outfit. And it was like everything kind of changed into this felt different. And it felt like, so we were season 6, we were more of the purist, I feel like. I was pure because I wanted to lose weight, didn't know a whole lot about it. Yeah.
Okay, Phil. So, is there anything else that we missed based on your story, your time on the ranch, any behind the scenes, anything else we missed?
No, I think we covered a lot.
Well,
Anybody
thank
can always comment, and we can answer any of their questions. I don't know that anybody would, but
Is there
it was
any
a great time. It was a long time ago. I'm super happy we did it. It was life changing. Wouldn't do it. I would absolutely do it again. Not this week, but I would do it again. But it was good. I really appreciate you. I really appreciate you taking time and talking to me about it.
if you could pick one reality TV show that's not about weight loss that you could be on, what would it be?
A reality show,
Yeah.
maybe?
Or
Oh
not
gosh.
reality, I guess. Are you an actor?
No, it could be. You know who's doing acting now is season 5, Jim. Gosh, the twin brothers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's an actor now. I
Oh,
think we all have a little bit of that in us. I don't know what I would do. Maybe Survivor. I don't know. It's been so. I don't. I'm not really into all that much.
I would
But
do Big Brother or Amazing Race. I
Amazing
can't
Race. Yeah, we always said, yeah, Amazing Race. Yeah,
I can't do the rice.
you
There's
get to go
just
all over the world.
yeah,
I think that would be cool.
I really appreciate you coming on. My message here, hopefully, is for people to never give up and that, we haven't given up and hopefully to give people more solutions to keep on trying. So I really appreciate you being here. If anybody wants to hook up or connect with you, is there a place they could find you?
Facebook.
Okay,
I'm
cool.
on Facebook. I guess that somebody wants to find out more about me or message me or whatever. Yeah, I haven't said that in 100 years, but they can find me on Facebook.
And on Facebook, are you Philip or are you Phil?
Philip.
Okay,
So,
great.
funny story. I was always Philip until the show, and they started calling me Phil on the show, and I've never gone back to Philip. Only my family, my ex-wife, and my wife, and those are really only people ever call me Philip. Everybody else is Phil, and that's kind of how I think I liked it.
I like them both.
Yeah,
But I'm glad everybody knows where to find you. Philip on Facebook.
yeah.
Thank you all for watching. If you like this content, please like, subscribe. If you have any questions for Phil or any of our other Biggest Losers, please comment below. Also, I would love to know who's your favorite Biggest Loser and who do I need to interview next. So thank you for
Gotcha.
tuning in. Have a great night.